If fighting was a god, I would worship him. I would bow to him. I would pray for victory. For he only grants opportunities. But behind every god lurks a devil. And the devil wants me to take a dive. My name is Annatomic. And this is how my legend was made.
When footsteps fall in eldritch hollows, and spectres flee into the shadows, that is the time when horror's heroes abound, culling the ghouls that go bump in the night.
From the heart of Lovecraft country and the birthplace of American religious liberty, my name is SHANTH ENJETI. You're watching SHANTH ENJETI Art at 3:39 a.m. And I'm here to tell you, when I have this pair of headphones on, it means that I was recently attempting to go to sleep. But here's the thing. I'm dealing with a troublemaker. And I'm going to get to the chat and my channel members in just a second, but I need to get some things off my chest here. We have a little creature that lives in this house that is the beloved pet of Mrs. Enjeti and little Miss E. He is a rabbit. He is a lop rabbit. And he decided that he doesn't like what's going on with the weather or something right now, and just started thumping his brains out. And I just like, what the heck? What's going on? Yes, dude. A for the day for that reference. It's Leo the Lop. Holy cow. That's hilarious. I had that little book when I was a kid. That's such a trip, man. But yeah, the Leo the Lop, that's definitely what he is. And he just started pounding away on this stuff. Let me say it to my channel members real quick. And it totally got me like, what the hell? I was just relaxing, listening to Ethan's stream. If watching that stream was relaxing, watching a woman about to murder her husband is not always easy to watch. No, it's just this dude is, well, he's up there now. He's 5, so, but he's just funny. He's always done that for weather. Yeah, man. And welcome Improbi to the chat, channel member OG. Thank you for being here, brother. I appreciate you. And of course, Jeremy Burt's channel member. The great Dan the Flawless Lawless is here, guys, doing incredible artwork. Love Dan. I'm not going to tell the story of our weird connection on this stream, but if you don't know it, it's disturbing and incredible at the same time. Brett McKay, I'm sorry to hear it's so hot over there in the UK. It must be, yeah, just the way the heat hits sometimes in the UK, doesn't it, man? It's crazy. I've been there. I've been there in the summer before, and it was pretty hot, but it was a long time ago. I mean, I was a kid, at that point, so I probably could handle a lot better. Schnozhead, it is good to see you. Yo, to you as well, my friend, and Sleeping Psychopathy rounding us out, regular channel member. It is great to see all you guys here. I know it's first thing in the morning. I'm just going to stream for a little bit because, the rabbit woke me up, and that's where I found myself. It's pretty nuts. So yeah, but I hope all of you guys are doing well on this fine day, adding some detail to this and doing what I do. Just became a member. Holy cow, Mr. Bijou 33. Welcome to being a member. Heavens to Betsy. I don't know if you're new around these parts, but if you're not, you get a cheerleader when you become a channel member. So this, my friend, is for you.
Charge!
There you have it, my friend. Welcome aboard. It is great to have you with us. All sorts of exciting stuff going on. I was just now getting excited. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. I was getting excited about Ethan's book launch. For those of you guys who don't know, Ethan is going to be, he's got the sign up right now live. I put it in bold. It's a couple of lines down after Nosfero and SPRINGBALL, my 2 campaigns. You can see Ethan's sign up link right there. Make sure you are signed up for that book. Make sure you are ready. It's going to be a really interesting book, and I'm kind of curious to see. What happens in it. I know that's going to sound nuts, but it's the thing I'm most interested in. It seems as though it's tackling a theme that anybody who is married or probably even has kids as well knows well, which is that horrific and horrendous female friend that a girl meets in a high school or middle school who makes her life a living hell and is sort of a frenemy. Not all of them grow up to become supervillains, but in the case of Heather Swain, hers certainly does. And Anne O'Malley is bad news, and it's going to document their relationship in this new book that's coming out from Ethan, and I cannot wait. Yeah, let's hit that thumbs up. Glass Machine, what is up? Sweet headband. Thank you very much. This was my this is what I wear. This set of headphones, guys, is what I wear so that as I'm dozing off, going to sleep, I can listen to the dulcet tones of Art Bell, Ghost to Ghost, Spooky Matter, or Dark Matter, depending on where he was at that point in his career, and also listening to audiobooks. So it'll either be Solomon Kane, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Frankenstein, Dracula, H.P. Lovecraft's The Shadows over Innsmouth, or The Shadow over Innsmouth, I apologize. So any number of those. The Dunwich Horror, let's see what else. Usually those are the ones. The Dunwich Horror I just have on repeat. It's one of my favorite Lovecraft stories, and it's influenced a lot of stuff that I do. In the original edition of Springball, one of the things that I put in there was that the evil laboratory is it says it's up on Sentinel Hill, which was of course a reference to Sentinel Hill in the Dunwich Horror. So there's a lot of stuff like that that's there, but it's been my favorite story for a very long time. Reading was not something that ever really came easily to me, and so I kind of my attitude with reading was, if a book can grab me and lock me in, outside of Shakespeare, I always had an easy time. I know this is weird, but I always had an easy time reading Shakespeare. Love Shakespeare, and certain books, but I don't know why, but H.P. Lovecraft stuff just hit me like a ton of bricks. And in the same way, not all of R.E. Howard stuff does, but Solomon Kane does. I love Solomon Kane, and I could read those stories over and over and over again, and I do. So yeah, every now and again, something just kind of fickles your tancy, as they say, and it draws you in. And that was definitely the case with H.P. Lovecraft. And he's in everything that I do, and seemingly like it was supposed to be, in terms of where I live in the heart of Lovecraft country, and all of my weird ties to Lovecraft locales and things like that just seemingly happened out of nowhere. But yeah, he's in Springball, Terminal Monstrosity, which is, of course, thank you guys. We're almost to 600 backers. Thank all of you guys for backing that book. It's going to be a killer book. It's McFarlane and Ditko's Spider-Man meets Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2 in particular. So it's just going to be a great book. If you haven't checked it out yet, go and check it out. Back it. There's all these cool perks there. John Malin did an outstanding cover for it. I did 2 covers I'm pretty proud of for that book as well. And the interiors and the story are coming along great. I was talking to one of my buddies who is really, I think, my oldest friend. I met him just before I met my wife, so I've known him for about 31 years. We met freshman year of college, and I was talking to him. He's been a part of the Springball journey since he was there, and he knew me when I created the character freshman year, for God's sake, and seen the evolution of it. And I was just talking to him, and there's another buddy of mine who I've known since freshman year, and I said, I want there to be, I have these bonus pages I want to fill, and I think I want to have, I know I want to have those guys do little stories, Springball stories in there that'll kind of work with the story that's already in there. And I just think that'd be a great thing for us, because you know people for that many decades, and you just think, I got to do something with it. There are a couple of people who I really wanted to find a way to be a part of this book if it was possible. So I was thinking, maybe I'll try to have like a page where, if John Malin wanted to write something, or I was just trying to think of what I could do, because I'm like, it's not like I can, afford a cover or anything like that, or do anything with it. And John ended up being one of the covers, because he just decided that he's all in on Springball. God knows why, but I thank God for it. and he's just been a huge champion of this book, and it's going to be a great book. It's going to be really just dynamic. I mean, there's the two books. Obviously, the next two books I'm working on, but I have never been more excited about comics than I am now, and the next two books I'm doing are the ones I'm most excited about. So Springball Terminal Monstrosity #1 is a blast because what I'm doing is it's a fully realized world now. Now, when I first did Springball with a lot of things, like when you do comic book characters, I mean, I was in my 20s, for God's sake, so I have about 20-something years more experience. But when I first did Springball, it was all of its influences were there in terms of 90s comics and Max Fleischer's Superman and all of that stuff. And there's all of that stuff is there as well now. But I just didn't have the experience in terms of, life to kind of look back and figure out how you're going to write things. Because when you're young, you've got your piss and vinegar and you've got your drive as a creator. And I wanted to make comics and I wanted to get my stuff out there and get after it. And so Springball was the end result of that. But it wasn't a cohesive world. The city that it took place in was kind of nebulous, and now I can tell you things about that city. It takes place in Kingsport, and a fictional city that's a cross between Max Fleischer's Metropolis and H.P. Lovecraft's Innsmouth. I know what the force of evil is lurking in this place. I know who these characters are. I know what I know what the meaning that's going to be revealed at on the final issue of the story arc. I know what the meaning of Terminal Monstrosity is. In fact, I wouldn't have even done this book if it hadn't come to me like that. I just was sitting there and I was thinking, what would I do with this? John's saying I should do something with this. All my friends are saying I should do something with this. OG Springball fans are writing to me saying, you should do something with this, man. This book, are you doing anything with it? Are you going to do anything with Springball ever? And I'm like, well, I'm working on Nosfero now. That's where I'm at. We got 42 people watching us here between X and YouTube. Thank you guys so much. I just was thinking 42 is the answer for all you Hitchhiker's Guide fans out there. But it was, I can't believe anybody's watching at this hour with no notice. But the thing that was so interesting is as I was looking at it and as I was working on the story, I love the idea of heroism and I hate the idea of the romanticizing of villains, which is a very postmodern thing and a moral relativist kind of thing. And I've seen enough horror, real life horror in my life, and real life, tragedy and things like that. And I'm still positive. You know what I mean? What's up, JD Kirby? High T, badass. My mic is low. Sorry. You know what it could be? Hang on. Sorry for the noise here. Could be because I'm not talking into it, but let me just double check. Sound effects, blue snowball. Let me look and see if the sound is messed up, JD. Let me look for you. Hang on a sec. Sound. Let me see if I can. If I turn it up, is that a little bit better? I don't know if that's going to be better or not, but hopefully it's better. Let me see. Let me know, JD, in the chat. I hope it's a little bit better. A late stream. Is there speed in that headband? Oh my god, man. I have not been sleeping lately, and I'm one of those. Okay, better. Great, JD Kirby. Thank you so much, man. You know what's weird with the red eyes on your thing? One, Art Bell always talked about how he was terrified of red eyes. By the way, channel member Bruce Campbell's Chin was here when I came up with when I sit there going, oh my god, this is fortuitous. I'm supposed to talk about this. When I had just come up with it's Spider-Man meets the Evil Dead, and I'm like, this is a sign, man. This is the way to go. Look at all these fine channel members here. Thank you very much. And new channel members. I appreciate you becoming channel members, guys. The thing is that, where the hell was I even going? Oh, yes. So, two things. One, I was thinking about how Art Bell was always terrified of red eyes, and he always talked about his fear of red eyes. The other thing I was thinking about was my wife and I just watched for the first time. I wouldn't say it's not a good movie, it's not a great movie. It's not a horrible movie. It's a movie. You watch it and you go, okay. But we had been talking about wanting to watch it just because we hear so much about it. But we just watched the Mothman Prophecies with Richard Gere. And I don't know what I quite made of it on the other side of it. But of course, the Mothman and the red eyes and the glowing red eyes. And I just thought, man, that is crazy. Yep, I seen these eyes in 1982. There you go. Holy cow, man. And we were watching that movie today, and I just think the Mothman thing is really fascinating. I know that Pete Cimetti does a lot of comic books about cryptids and all of that kind of thing, but I hadn't really heard about that because, you know, I grew up in Tennessee, so and now I live in New England. We have things in Tennessee like the Wampus Cat. You know, that was the big thing, but we didn't have the Mothman talked about nearly as much down there. So yeah, wild stuff. So yeah, as I've been writing Springball's mission is pretty simple. Springball knows there's a lot of evil in this world. There's a lot of evil people in this world. And so he's basically going after all of the folks that we've been trying to go after as of late, who prey on young people, who are you know, just the most malicious and most evil and twisted people on Earth. But what Springball doesn't know at the start of Terminal Monstrosity, and what he's going to soon learn, is that behind all this stuff, underneath all of this stuff, is something even more evil, if one can imagine it. And it is that Lovecraftian horror that's driving it. And when I looked at what goes on sometimes in the world, I go, you know, nobody wants to, you know, go to superhero comics for some direct translation, some kind of, you know, didactic and cruel and overly, you know, grotesque feeling about this world. But they can handle, when it comes to pop culture, things like Evil Dead. And so I just decided to take all of that and put Lovecraft over it so you can get the message if you can read between the lines. But it's subtext. It's not really the text. You know, the text is flirted with, or it's flirted with in the text a little bit, but the subtext is where it happens. Improbi Pet Cemetery. There you go. Richard Gere's The Prophecies would have been a better movie. That did come up tonight, because we were like, whatever happened to Richard Gere? I seen these eyes in 1982. You know it's true. Yeah, we saw that. Imagine looking up from your bed and you see these eyes open up on your ceiling. That happened in 1982, an experience I'll never forget. J.D. Kirby, that's absolutely terrifying. And hail to you, brother. That is rough. So, I don't know if you were on this stream, or if you were in the chat. It's great to see you. What's up, Wishmaster? Mothman Prophecies. Amen, Wishmaster. It's good to see you again. So here's the thing. My wife doesn't believe in anything. She's not frightened by anything. She's not, like, if I watch a movie, I do get freaked out by stuff, man. I don't know. Maybe it was that Catholic upbringing. I don't know what it is. But, like, movies like The Omen, movies like Rosemary's Baby, movies like that, they freak me out a little bit. I'm susceptible to the supernatural. What is up, Frankly O0? Good day, everyone. Good day to you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Inconceivable that you'd be here. Oh, my goodness. You know what I mean? Wait till I get going. Where was I? Australia. Yes, Australia. That's why you gotta have that, right? And so the thing is that she's not bothered by any of it, ghosts or any of that stuff. She's not into that. Now, I, on the other hand, am, and I'm like, I don't know, heard a weird sound, don't know what that's about, don't know what this is about, and that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. So I'm sitting here talking to her, and if there's one thing had never heard about until recently, at all, never heard about it. I'd never heard about shadow people. And I don't know if any of you guys know what shadow people are, or if you know what these things are. Well, you're going to like this part. Then you're going to like where this is going, man. Dude, I love that you said that things do go bump in the night. I used to say that to my wife about Nosfero. I used to say, Nosfero is the hero that goes bump in the night. So here you go. You're going to like this. So this is the context for this, J.D. Kirby, and you're going to appreciate this, man. So understand what a rationalist she is. I just think people think they see things. I just think that was the worst imitation of my wife, but she's not going to watch this stream, thank God. She's going to be like, Is that how I talk? Every husband and every wife have the same imitation of their spouse, man. I'm a doubting Thomas. I side with Sean's bride. You totally understand. Art Bell talked about him all the time. Okay, so you know Matt's studio. Excuse me, Matt B's studio. So here's the thing. I'm talking to her and I go, yeah, and he's talking about these things called shadow people, these dark people, you know, who you see and it's like blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and I've talked to her about this stuff a million times, guys. A million times. And she goes, oh, yeah, I saw a shadow person once. And I'm like, the record skip. Like, whoa. Wait, what? And she goes, I've seen a shadow person before. Yeah, when I was a kid. I was awake, and I'm like sitting here going, wait, are you messing with me? You have not seen a shadow person. I was like, there's no way you, like, what? Tell me what this is. I said, do you remember what it looked like? She goes, oh yeah, I could draw it. And I was like, I swear I'm not kidding. This is the most messed up thing. She has never, ever, ever told me this story either. Never. And I said, okay. And she goes, well, you know how when my sister and I were growing up, we shared a room and we had those windows, you know, that are on the two sides of the room. And I was like, wait, what are you talking about? All right, take care, brother. Yeah, don't worry. Go to bed, Dan. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. This is for you, Danny. Get some sleep. The shadow people I've seen are only about 3 feet tall. They're tiny, but they are very real. Yeah, in Australia, we have spirits like that. We call them hairy men. This is so creepy, man. I had an encounter myself. Okay, so she draws me. She goes, and she goes, so I look over at my sister, and between my sister and the door to our bedroom and the bathroom door, because they had a bathroom off of their bedroom they shared, she goes, there is a shadowy figure that's tall. You can't see anything but the silhouette. And its arm is out and it's pointing towards either that door or the bathroom door. And I'm not sure. And I kind of like had to like check myself to see if I was awake. But it was sunny. She goes, it was not like the room totally had sun in it. And it was standing there. And she's like, and I just looked at it and looked at it. I looked away. I looked back. It was there. And she goes, and then it just, at a certain point, and I'm looking around, it just faded out. It just went, whoosh. And she goes, and I stayed awake. So I know I wasn't dreaming. I stayed awake till my sister woke up. I was sitting there. Imagine hearing this from somebody who does not believe in this stuff at all. I was stunned. I wish I showed the drawing on stream, because she did a drawing for me. And I showed it on stream because I was like, this is insane. Yes, exactly, man. So can you imagine? So what you said, JD Kirby, and guys, when you read Nosfero and you read SPRINGBALL, understand, yeah, man, I got to be honest, man, she kind of went up with me in my estimation at that point. I was like, all right, you're even cooler. There's two things I love about that I think are really cool about her. Well, there's many things. One, she supports Comicsgate and all that, which is awesome. So let's put all that to one side. But a big thing about it is that she has the same birthday as Frank Frazetta, which I think is really awesome. She loves science fiction and fantasy type stuff. She's super into that stuff, even though she's not like, the most hardcore person. She's a massive Star Trek fan. I think her and Anna and Graham would get on famously. She loves Star Trek. But she's also an incredible person, one of the kindest people I've ever met. But when she told me that story, it can be very frustrating, but it's true. When you see it, you, like, as you said, man, JD, it's like when you see it, you don't believe it till you see it. And when you see it, you believe it for life. Did you ever paint the shadow person you witnessed? There you go. I haven't witnessed one myself, thank God. Shadow people stories are great. Yes, they are. Well. Mike likes tacos, and we like Mike. It is great to see you, brother. Why are there no tacos in the chat? Looks fantastic. Thank you, Admiral Wackass. So this thing, here's what I'm leaning towards. Originally, I was this painting I've actually gave a name as of today. I posted it on Instagram because Instagram now lets you post from your laptop, and I thought, I haven't posted on Instagram in ages because of that. But something important to say, and one of the reasons why I just probably can't sleep and wanted to fire. Thank you, Mike. You are appreciated. One of the reasons why I fired up this stream is it is the 4-year anniversary of me handing in my letter of resignation to the college I was teaching at. And that's on Instagram. I posted it at the 4-year point. And so I've been reflecting a lot this week about it and thinking about it and just thinking about how sometimes you make really tough choices and you know those choices are right. And there were a lot of factors that went into it, but it was definitely caused by, the environment at the college, which was completely consumed by this mentally ill, hyper-politicized, leftist, crazy madness that was going on, and all of the things that come along with it. And so 4 years ago, I had already crowdfunded 2 art books on Indiegogo because I was and I was backing Comicsgate stuff, because starting with CYBERFROG, Blood Honey, the first release of it. And I just kind of got to a point to where I thought, I don't know. That's why this is crazy, man. When you guys are watching me and you guys see me on Comicsgate Kings or you see me anywhere, like the other day, and I was doing a painting lesson with Eric Weathers. I give Eric Weathers painting lessons because he's wanted to learn how to work in traditional media. And when I left teaching, I thought, I'm never going to teach again. I mean, it was heartbreaking. I was making a living as a teacher, which is very rare. Master's degree, all the work that went into that. I'm a father of 2. This was a big decision for me and my family. And it wasn't done because we thought everything was going to, everything's going to be roses. Like, we didn't know where things were going to go. It was a total leap of faith. I didn't know I was going to meet anybody like in Comicsgate and all that stuff. I mean, I had talked to some people, but I couldn't be more of a did not know anybody in Comicsgate, right? And JD, have we talked about this before? I'm having deja vu all over again, as some have said. But I'm having the weirdest feeling of deja vu. I had handed in my letter of resignation at University of Colorado 12 years ago. It was getting stupid even back then, so I understand what you're going through. I appreciate that, JD. I really do. The only thing that was keeping me sane at the time was that this stuff was being called out publicly by Jordan Peterson, and I was listening to the things he was saying, and it was very much what I was experiencing. And he did catch this compelled speech thing really early, which started to take over. And so I was doing my art lesson with Eric Weathers, and I was saying, all right, Eric, here's what we're going to do today. And because the college I used to teach at about 11 weeks ago, they're having a tough time. They're not doing so hot right now. They're having trouble attracting students. I think their last year's incoming class, and they were a small college to begin with, was half of what they usually get. I think it was down to like 53 incoming students. And there's a lot of stuff they're blaming on that and everything like that. It was a school of like just around 300 or 400. But there's a lot of things that they're blaming on that in terms of the pandemic. But the truth is that there's not a lot of draw there. There's not a lot of quality. People are just leaving, and I left and I was thinking, how ridiculous it was. But what was so funny is about 11 weeks ago, they used one of my former students that I taught to paint, who is now doing pretty well in her career. They used her as a case study, and I was just laughing, thinking, it's too bad that nobody teaches that there anymore. Isn't that a shame? That the person you're using as a case study was taught by somebody that you let go out the door because you couldn't think to treat them like a human being. You wanted to keep redistributing their work, redistributing their students, all the while attacking them. And I wasn't even... The things I was saying were about just anything. Were just, I want to be able to tell people, frankly, what I think about their work, and I don't want to be policed by young adults on what I'm allowed to say. Certainly not at an art school. And it seems insane. And the things I was saying, again, they wouldn't even rank. And at the college that I was part-time at, that I left a couple of years before, which is my alma mater and is probably one of the most prestigious visual arts colleges, or was in the country, has a deep history. I said basically that I don't like any kind of racism. I don't like racism against any group, and that includes white people. And I got called by my department chair, and they said there are students who are concerned you're expressing white nationalist sympathies. And I just was like, is this really happening? Am I really experiencing this right now? Insane. What is up, Andy Montemayor? It is good to see you, my friend. I hope you are doing well. Good morning. Sean's up late or up early? Yeah, well, it's 4:09 here, so pretty early. I was adjunct in the English department for 5 years. I was about to get tenure, and then dumb shit happened, so I know what you're talking about. It sucks. Yeah, it does. And so I'm sitting there with Eric, and I'm going through my sabbatical application. I was rejected for sabbatical twice in a row. I never took a sabbatical in 18 years of teaching. And they just they said, no, you can't have this 2 times in a row, so they could, because see, here's the thing: when you're a good teacher, if you go, you've got there's a lot more problem for the college. But when you work really hard and you're a great teacher, particularly when you're commuting 90 miles to get to the damn place, it's something you earn through working hard, helping the college to stay afloat, attracting students, teaching students, making case studies. And these assholes, pardon my French, only made my life more difficult. And so I was reading this thing to Eric, and Eric just was great. Eric was looking at it and going, oh my Lord, you taught this person? You did this, you did that. And it's like, yeah, tons of case studies. And you can't believe how petty these people are. But I think we could all say that, and that was the thing that made me, I didn't know Ethan's comic book artwork. I only knew him as a Star Wars fan, which seems nuts now. But when I was watching Ethan and he was talking about what was happening to him as a comic book artist, it's like, but I created the Green Lantern emotional spectrum. I've made you guys millions and millions and millions of dollars. Is a little bit of loyalty too hard to ask? And it's like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. Yeah, they don't want teachers. They want sheep step by step. Yeah, it's the same way everywhere. You get punished for overperforming, 100%. Yeah, it's a frustrating thing. It's a frustrating thing because I'm one of those people to where I'm stunned at the way people disregard and throw aside relationships with people who have helped them. And I don't know if you can really do anything about that. I really don't. And so my attitude is just to get people like that away from me, because it's just, it doesn't go anywhere. In the end, you're just working and you're putting time in, and it doesn't go anywhere. And but I just, the one thing that drives me crazy, whoa, late nights is awesome one. Yes, it is a late night. Mr. Burger Raid of 1. There you go. I like it. That's what we do here. Oh, for all of you guys who keep asking me this, I finally think I enabled raids. So I think I found the button. I think I figured it out. So we'll see. So it's one of the things that it just kind of, it stuns me to this day, because I was raised. Yes, I'm wearing my Indian headgear, my headband I listen to Art Bell on when I pass out. Assuming my bunny doesn't thump his brains out, which he just did. You'd think a little thing like that wouldn't be able to make noise, but he thinks that we're fellow bunnies, and he's like trying to tell us to seal the hutch. It's crazy. Shanth found the button. Wife is pleased. Stop. You're killing me, man. You're absolutely killing me. Oh my God. So I'm sitting here and I'm doing all of this work. See, look, everybody's, killing me. I'm a high school art teacher over 20 years. I've seen this woke nonsense come in as well. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Well, here's the funny part. It's like my wife is too, and the thing that she said about it, and the thing that gets me is that she's like, it's not that bad here. And I said, college is where a lot of that stuff just originates, and we had a change in administration. We brought in a new president who, by the way, bailed after a couple of years, leaving the college in worse shape than it was. Deer hunter, that's totally what it is. Yeah, I'm in deer hunter, deer slayer territory right now. But it's a crazy kind of thing, because all you want to do, I thought that being an art school teacher and a college professor was going to be about largely art and, frankly, some really cool conversations that you get to have with adults. Like the kind, C.S. Lewis would talk about, or Tolkien would talk about, and Joseph Campbell would talk about mythology, metaphor and myth and dream. And students could come into my class with almost every, as long as they weren't disruptive or nuts towards another student, and that happened at all times. That's always happening. They could come in with whatever they wanted, attitude-wise. And I'd be like, well, let's try to get you to make good artwork. I don't give a damn what you believe politically or anything. And students didn't used to talk about politics. If you had a student talking about politics in college, it was like, you need to go out and get laid or something. Like, what's wrong with you? And, I mean, it was rare. And then it went nuts. Cam, what's up, Cam? How are you doing? Loved Art Bell and George Norrie. Yeah, I could listen to all that kind of stuff all day long, man. All day long. And by the way, welcome, Mr. Bijou 33. 33, by the way, is my favorite number. I don't know if you know that. Nosfero is 33 pages long, and I fear Springball could turn into that. But right now, it's at a safe number. Although with the bonus stories, it might end up being, if my two brothers are down for doing those stories, it may end up being 33. But the only thing that's up is me. And Cam, I like that photo, man. It's good to see you. So it's it's a crazy sort of thing to me when it comes to making artwork and doing all of this stuff. It's like, my attitude is, your college is essentially, you're in a car, or your students are in a car driving past you on the side of the road. And in the time they whip past you, you're trying to give them as much usable information as you possibly can, and a little bit of a life experience, And it's a tough job, but if you love it and you're passionate about it, you can do great things. And seeing a student of mine, who is, of course, being celebrated now as if, they had anything to do with it, outside of, driving away, hiring and then driving away the teacher who taught her all this stuff, being celebrated. I took this student, so I should probably tell the story a little bit more. Safe, no, not 333 pages. That ain't happening, man. These things have to be done. But it's, she was yellow-blue colorblind. She now paints in full color. It's nuts. And how I did that was I got a phone app that allowed me to see color blindness in real time, and I selected her type of color blindness so that I said, she can't see what I'm seeing, but it's probably possible for me to see what she's seeing. Found a phone app, I could see it in real time. And that's how I taught her how to paint. And she had skill, sure. But I saw her work right before she had me, and it was nuts. They're like that because the left are weaponizing the youth. It's literally communism. Yeah, it's definitely that. But there's some other things going on that are just a little bit more nefarious that I've been thinking about a certain collection of people in the generations and the younger generations under Gen X that I've been observing as a teacher, and now I'm seeing it again. And it's something just to bear in mind. Because when I see it, I find it tremendously offensive. But it is, and I've saw it recently with a former student of mine that I helped, and I just was so disgusted. But this is, exactly, very cool. That's what teaching's about, finding a way. JD Kirby, that's why we do what we do. And it was cool because I got to show Eric the before and after. This is the semester before me. This is the semester after. This is what she's doing now, for a living. It's nuts, man. Yeah, when you kill the love of teaching in a teacher like that, and to where they don't want to come in and do that job because of how miserable you've made it, bravo, you've done a great job. But where was I? Heck, I even forgot what I was talking about for a minute there. Well, it's to be expected. It's to be expected at this hour. There we go. Someone in the chat will remind me what I was talking about. If it was anything. Holy Lord. But it's great to see all... Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. There you go. I just had to look at the chat for a second, and it came flooding back to me. But there's a group of people in the younger generations I've been paying careful attention to, and I've been trying to understand what's going on with them, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And here's my hypothesis. Are you ready for it? Here's my hypothesis on it. They are absolutely incapable of gratitude for the older generation for a couple of reasons. It's not everybody. It's just a cohort. So ponder this. They have no gratitude for the older generation, and I suspect it's because they have very permissive parents and a very permissive group of people around them. It could have been teachers, it could have been culturally, it could have been any number of things. What's up, David D? How are you doing, brother? Because of that, they think the job of adults is to give them things. And to take and take and take. And they don't owe any appreciation for it. They don't owe any thank yous for it. They just get to take and take and take and take. But they do like the idea of being in a position of power to give things to people so that people owe them. And so that they can build a little collection of people who owe them favors. But they don't like the idea of owing favors themselves, which is weird because it's actually not what it's about. It's just about respect. My mentor who taught me how to paint, I respect him till the day he dies. He disagrees with me, whatever else. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He gave me something I can't ever repay by sharing his knowledge with me, which he didn't have to do. Even your paid teachers only have to go so far. When you go that extra mile, you think that would matter, like connections for you and things like that. So anyway, but they do like the idea of opening the door. We saw this happen in comics, but we're seeing it happen everywhere. Even in Comicsgate, it happens. So they get let in the door, and what they really want is they have no appreciation. They're like, why am I not in charge? The second they get in there. And then they want the power to open the door to all of their friends. So not only do you have to let them in, if you don't let all of their friends in, they hate you. Because they love the idea of letting their friends in and saying, see, look at what clout I have. Now I'm going to give you clout. But they're essentially playing with the house's money. They didn't spend any time working and giving back to the people who helped them in any meaningful way. And by the way, in most cases with mentors, you can't, or people who open doors for you in your career, you can't pay them back. All you can do is not slap them in the face. My mentor who helped me with my artwork, Brian, I can never pay him back. Can't. I have to do something pretty big in order for me to be able to pay him back. So all these people really hope is that you will pay it forward, but not pay it forward out of their wallet so that you can act like you're the big man with somebody else's stature and somebody else's accomplishment. And that is the problem. That is me isolating the problem, in my opinion. And that's what I used to do as a teacher. So there's no time spent when somebody does something for you to go, okay, I need to earn this back. You're a full member. This happened because of you, because you've always been told you're special. Now, I grew up slightly different than that, right? So, slightly to put it mildly. I went to very strict schools in the South, and my teachers didn't play those kinds of games. You had to show respect. You had to be polite. You had to say, yes, sir. You had to do all of those things that you were supposed to do and how you were supposed to behave. But there was a promise that, funny enough, even broke down there, which was so weird to see, man. It was crazy. Where if you saw an upperclassman, you had to show the upperclassman respect. It didn't matter what was going on. Like if they were bullying you or how they were treating you, you had to show respect. But the expectation was when you got there, you would be shown respect. But here's the crazy thing, man, that I think about sometimes. The kind of respect and reputation that takes 20 years to build or 30 years to build or whatever it is, or 48 years of your life or whatever it is, that's something that the crew that was coming up seemed to take twisted delight in destroying in an unfounded fashion. And they seemed to take delight in trying to wreak havoc, all because they thought they knew as much. My last semester teaching at the school that I left 4 years ago, there was a student in my class who I know for a fact, because people were telling me, and you can actually start to spot it after a while, who was hanging out on Discord servers and talking about how Shanth was in class. Like what? Like I was talking and critiquing because that's what I'm paid to do, you know? Like you're going to either listen to me or people who have their high school diploma and don't know how to draw. So I was in the middle of a critique, and she interrupted me. She's like, I'm sorry. I just wanted to see if the student finished what they were saying before you interrupted them. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I was pissed, but I kept it together, man. I was like, because I'm a professional. And I was like, I'm sorry, so go ahead. And the student just looks at her and goes, actually, I was more interested in hearing what Sean's going to say because I'm graduating in about 5 weeks. And this is my last chance to hear his thoughts. So I was listening to him before you interrupted him. And then the student said, oh. And I was like, well, what did you think he was trying to say? And I made them have to be the teacher for 4 minutes. And they just floundered and looked like a total jackass. Because I was like, yeah, the idea of being in my position sounds cool, like in telling me what to do, like I'm your mommy or your daddy. But you don't want the responsibility and the accountability that comes with it. That's what it is. So you want to be in charge, but you don't want to have you don't want to be canceled. Because if you had what I had, you wouldn't take the risks I took to get here. You want the clout, you don't want the responsibility. And that's what it comes down to for me. And that's what I've been watching happen. And I don't give a shit anymore. That's the great thing about being my age. I'm like, I'm not going to stick around somewhere like I was at 4 years ago where some random psychopath can come in and accuse me of being racist or whatever else and try to burn my reputation down. And I was like, I'd rather be on my own. And it was... yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's right. I watched McClintock today. He put his woman in line, and she was like, oh, all hearts. Before that, she was a terror that no one liked. Yep, yeah, that's definitely true. And the men duked it out for fun and to resolve stuff instead of crying over spilt milk. 100%. In her eyes, you were either white or Jewish, so you deserve nothing but hate. It's Nazi 101. Well, it's Marxist 101. It's Communist 101. It's all of it. It's all of it. But all this stuff is irrelevant, right? All this stuff is irrelevant because there's a bigger problem at play. And the problem is simple. A respect for any kind of authority, or disrespect for any kind of authority. And the desire to, exercise mob justice. So I don't know if any of you guys caught my new short that I put out today, but I'm actually going to try to put out some quality shorts using the premise of forget what you've been taught about. Because forget what you've been taught about is sort of my big thing. Hold on, let me read this real quick. I went to a private school in New York where teachers could hit you. Yes, I've heard. My brother went to a school in New York. And detention was hard labor. We knew our place at all times. Absolutely. Well, here's another one for you. Dude, you're absolutely right. We had a paddle at my school called the Board of Education, and that could absolutely happen. Lawlessness shall increase, except for the Dan lawlessness. That stuff we like, man. We love the Dan lawlessness, right? I mean, are you with me? And so, yeah, and a guy that I know actually talked about how he had a teacher throw him into a wall because he had the same name as another kid. And then the teacher was like, oh, you're not that kid, never mind, and walked away. And I was like, holy things were a bit different, right? They weren't perfect, but you had to deal with this. And so the crazy thing about all of this stuff is that you found yourself in a situation where you have the lunatics have taken over the asylum. And the children have taken over, the role of adults, and the adults have allowed it. And to undo that is not worth anybody's time, especially with your career and your reputation at stake. And so I just said, I want to be in a situation to where if somebody comes at me, I can come back at them twice as hard. That's it. But there was a time when the administration would have taken the side of faculty because they're like, we've hired you, you've worked here for 15 years. This random person, right, is saying you gave them an unfair grade because you hate them, which is insane. And obviously they're crazy, and that's not why you give out grades. You'd think that would be the case. And it stopped being the case. And so you start saying to yourself, if I give a student a grade, it's going to be a headache for me, not a headache for them. And you just go, that's nuts. So people are paying me now. They want me to lie. I told my students in the syllabus that 80% of the class would be lectures and that I wanted them to jump in the conversation. But easier said than done because most people are shy, but I found a way. You're right. It's absolutely true. In my school in the 80s, parents taking the kids' side over the teachers was unheard of. And that was the same for me, man. That was the same for me. Yep, it was not done. And by the way, it used to be the adults were on the same team, and they're not anymore. But by the way, when I look around me, I see the same thing from both members of the older generation above me and the generation below me. They are not on the sides of adults. They want to still be children, and they want to be cool to kids. And I don't want to be cool to kids. I just don't. I'm like, what on earth? You know? I have a different role in all of this. You know? If there's a fire in the building, I'm the last one out. That's the role I have. You know what I mean? It's a different role. But if you want me to have that role, then I need to be in charge. If I'm going to be responsible, then I need to be in charge. And I don't want to be responsible for adults anymore. Adults need to work their own stuff out. That's it. You know, it's crazy. Like, you are a legal adult when you turn 18. Grow up. And they started infantilizing college students to the point to where it's just embarrassing, and you can't get anything done. And the thing that got me, and really, like, I'm, as a student of history and as a student of watching this stuff, there's a couple of things that really blew my mind. And it's going to be in a future Forget What You've Been Taught About. So for those of you guys who are curious, it's all reverse psychology and a forced narrative. Always accuse someone of the oppression they enact on others. It's sick shit. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. A lot of people don't know this, right? About the what's it called? About the Salem witch trials. But the Salem witch trials were initiated by 4 young girls who were taken at their word. So if you want to know, let me tell you what their ages were. Because this blows my mind. Nobody knows this. They're always like, well, it was the puritanical men hunting witches. No. It was gossipy teenagers and kids and adults believing them. That's what it was. It wasn't some parable for communism and the puritanical religious men who was how they have to do it. It was weak men who were listening to these crazy people. So, yeah. And by the way, in case you're wondering about this, the Salem witch trials, 16 and 18. What do we got? 16, 18? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm missing something here. 16, 18. What do we got there, Murmy? I feel like there's something smart there that I'm too dumb to figure out, and I apologize. Let me see here. Oh, is that the military? No, it's not military time. It's off by 15 if it is. It's also the knowledge law, Shanth. Yes, you're absolutely right. The new generation are not as knowledgeable. No, they're not. They can't write. They're actually thinking about removing technology from schools up until a certain age because students have no hand control. So they can't do basic jobs of trade jobs. People who hire for trade jobs can't use them. Surgeons, med students are graduating who can't have no hand skills. So you don't want them operating on you. It's absolutely nuts, man. It's crazy. So here's your Salem witch trial story. Here's your ages. If you want to know who can start apocalypse in a society that takes every word of every young person, as the word. Here's the accusation ages. Are you ready? The trials began after a few local women, I love they call them women, by the way, in Salem Village were accused... Oh, sorry. I'm wrong. My bad. Salem women were accused of witchcraft. Yes, the people who were accused of witchcraft were women. By 4 young girls. Betty Paris, age 9. Abigail Williams, age 11. Ann Putnam Jr., age 12. And are you ready for this one? Elizabeth Hubbard, age 17. Who do you think the ringleader was? A 17-year-old sociopath, mentally unstable kid who got 3 kids to agree with her on her accusations. And they believe all young people, believe all young women in Salem, and they went on a killing spree. That's what caused the Salem witch trials. Young, lying girls. And one 17-year-old in particular who I'm sure was behind it. And that's something people don't know. People don't talk about. It's crazy. You know? Yeah, without having to worry about the surgeon having severe... Yes, exactly. It's crazy. Yeah. It never ends up well. It never does. Yep. No one has time to learn. There's too many TikTok videos. Well, yeah, nobody has sustained attention either. So what was one of the things that I'm going to be talking about in my Forget What You've Been Taught About? Because what I like about that format is it's someone's got to speak to that audience and put things in their head. Never trust a woman, says Glass Machine. Yeah, well, I would say certainly never trust a group of people accusing people of witchcraft. If the youngest witness is 9 is probably a bad idea, don't you think? But Nazi became the new witchcraft, and that was the problem. But there's things people don't know about history, and there's people things don't know that are inconvenient truths, and they reveal certain truths about people. There are good people, and there are people who are upstanding and moral people out there, and then there's people who are not, and similar patterns play out, but we don't always learn from history. And it's not about this is a good person or this is a bad person, but you can judge people by their repeated, you can judge people by the fact that if they have a repeated, tendency towards, gossip and bullshit and all that stuff, in a normal society, people distance themselves from them. It's just gonna happen. Productive people are going to distance themselves from people like that. And productive people are important. I don't care what my surgeon thinks. I don't care what their background is. It's nuts. What's most scary is the Salem witch trials is actually a true story. I watched a documentary. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was about to say this before, but one of the students at my wife's high school goes up to Salem every year, I think it is, to pay their respects to one of their ancestors who was actually killed in the Salem witch trials. It's very real up here. It's a very real thing up here. And she told me the person's name, and she said when I'm back up there, I said when I'm back up there, I'll try to find it, and so we can pay our respects. Yeah, it's a real thing. It happened to people. And hail, I love seeing those custom emojis here, guys. Absolutely, absolutely. Let's see here. Oh, awesome one received a membership. Jeremy Birds gifted a membership. How did I miss this? You guys got to keep me in line. Channel member and OG Rockstar. I feel the need for cheers.
Charge! Charge!
I mean, we only have the Twilight Zone to teach us all this stuff. And Jeremy Birds, hail and thank you, man, for gifting a membership. I appreciate it, and that's great for Awesome One. I love to see it. Good stuff, guys. Getting to use those custom emojis and all that stuff. So when I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about, I am allergic to the hay that the bunny eats too. On top of that, so in addition to keeping me up by thumping, I can barely breathe. Let me see if I can blow my nose and make the world a better place. Oh, Lordy B. All right, let me play some cheerleaders while I do that, so you don't have to suffer through it. Here you go.
Charge! Charge!
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not good, but we're getting there. So yeah, so it's a crazy kind of thing, and it's when I think about Ethan, and I think about what he's writing about right now with Heather Swain, and Heather Swain's really manipulative and abusive, who grows up to be a superhero or supervillain. Sorry, not a superhero, supervillain. I don't know why, but I naturally, when I think of that kind of story, I have a tendency to think of the Salem witch trials, because without getting into too many details, but in my own home, the young lady in my own home dealt with the girl bullying stuff by woke kids at her school. And the irony was, I hate talking about this kind of thing in general, but she was the brownest thing in that crew. And you just sit here and you just go, what is up with this? Like what is wrong with these people? But it's the same thing done over and over again. It's isolation. It's just crazy. I've been all over New England, never been to Rhode Island. Oh, worth a visit. Definitely going to visit. Lots of history and haunts there. Yeah, you can visit H.P. Lovecraft's grave. You can see all of the what everyone always says, they have the most haunted street in America in their town. I don't know if you've noticed that yet, but it's a common claim. But supposedly Benefit Street is the most haunted street in here. And of course, the Lizzie Borden house is here, which a lot of people go to. I was watching a Grim Life Collective video where they went there. But it's this whole thing that I've been witnessing for a while of is really odd. I don't think I can count a lot of examples, and there have been some, where, and these people are the students that I'm actually close with, where, oh my gosh, man. Shanth, have you ever read The History of English Monarchy going back to the 1100s? My God. The Plantagenet, oh gosh, no, I haven't. I bet it's insane. I have not read it, and you're giving me credit for more smarts than I have. People always dislike, the different, it's a strange thing, right? Because as I look at this stuff, and I look at, the things that are going around, I have students, like my former student Cameron, right? This guy, I talk to this guy all the time. He always is kind. Of course, I consider us to be brothers and friends. I thanked him in the first Nosfero. He was the concept artist on the second Guitar Hero. He designed all the characters. He works for Sideshow. Just a terrific dude, and I worked with him on a property he was developing. He's worked for DreamWorks, all this stuff, man. Never have we talked about politics. Never have we gotten into any of this stuff. He's just a good friend, and when he was hired as an art director, he was like, well, I want to bring you on board because I want to see what you can come up with characters. So he's actually worked with me, which is, I've done that with some of my mentors where I've brought them up for lectures at colleges and things like that. That's a normal thing. But I started to realize this thing not long ago that this particular type of person I'm talking about, who once they get their foot in the door, instantly trying to take control of everything and instantly trying to make sure that they can spread out your resources to their little cronies and their little friends. The thing that I've noticed about them is they never do stuff to really act, how could they, but to try down the stretch to benefit the people. They always leave on bad terms. They never help their mentors, or they never help people. This is a very strange thing to me. I still write teachers that I've had, now decades ago, to say thank you. Just a random thank you for introducing me to that thing. I will not go to my grave saying, well, you know what, I didn't say thank you enough to the people who helped me. I said it more than enough. Sometimes it falls on deaf ears. That's not the point. That's not why you say it. And the fact that people you do so much for, and I think this is very confusing to my generation, the fact that the people that you do so much for could ever turn back and throw it in your face like you're, I don't know, some like horrific abusive parents blows my mind. It's like, I'm not your parent. I'm somebody who helped the hell out of you. Oh, you don't like me because I'm comic skate. I actually got that message from a student who I stopped talking to because he was a dick. That was the answer. And I didn't cut him out of my life or anything. What is that? I just didn't want to hear from him because he corrected my wife, which I'm not a fan of. If you see this later and you know who you are, asshole, that's what it was about. Sorry. It really frustrates me. Anyway. And so he wrote me this message, and as opposed to saying, hey man, just want to see how you're doing, I know it's been a minute, the things that normal people do when they write to their teachers, he was like, oh, so I guess you're, what was it, oh, so I guess you cut me out of your life because of politics, which actually is what this dude was all about. I don't care about people's politics, I gotta be honest with you. I care about people's behavior. And he goes, well, enjoy Comicsgate, I guess. And man, I was ready to level this fucker. Level him. There is shit that he felt comfortable saying that would get his ass canceled so fast. I was so pissed. And I was like, you know what? It's not worth it. This has earned you a block, my friend. And that's it. Never again. I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth you. And his life's probably not going too hot now. Maybe he's realizing that, he's in his 40s now and he's not 20 anymore or something. Some, problem of luxury. I thought I'd be dead by now. So I cannot believe, I have a different view of life. Saw some tough stuff when I was growing up. And so I just don't do that, man. Yeah, it's tough to have that patience sometimes. On a lighter note, my puppy got into one of my bookshelves today and narrowly saved. Oh, that's awesome. You know what? Let me tell you something, Cam. If it had gotten Nosfero, it's worth it. It's like when my kids would do something on one of my drawings. You know what I mean? It's like But I'm glad you saved Nosfero. I love that book. It's such a beautiful book, man. Yeah, it wasn't, we weren't in each other's presence. It was online, but it was still insane, Yeah, and to squander everything and leave a disaster in their wake. Yeah, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Shanth almost invoked the quartering on him. I don't know what that means, but I believe you. Yeah, sure. But it's who fucking knows? But it was just such a funny thing because what I've tried to look for in what I'm working is when I love hearing the birds chirp as everything's waking up outside. But what I love hearing, and doing is helping people do their stuff. Like, I really enjoy seeing Eric Weathers, his artwork improve and that he's painting now. It's great. And in my sabbatical application that I shared with him, just to show him my teaching career, show him the times I stayed after work, patching walls and helping students get jobs using my connections to help students, by the way, some of whom are like that kid that who I helped lay out his portfolio and wrote, was a recommendation for him. All these things. I taught him color theory. And it was so funny to share that stuff with him and for him to see it, because it just feels like it's a part of my story that people haven't seen. But whether you're, a veteran in comic books or, a veteran in, concept art, illustration, and academia, and all the things that I am with the stuff I do, and I'm not, I have, worked with Len Wein and done stuff like that, but I'm by no means, and it's kind of funny, right? I was thinking about this today. When you see all the people who are blowing up for what they haven't gotten or what they should have gotten from here and there and everywhere. Well, I've been here now for about, 5 years or so. And I find it's not nearly as hard as people think not, to be grateful, to work hard, and to appreciate when people do nice things for you. But you got to know how to do it. I really do think that a lot of people are blind to kindness that happens to them. And I don't know how that's possible. The only thing I can think about it is they just must have always taken everything for granted when they were kids, because no one ever told them, hey, say thank you, appreciate this. That's all I got when I was growing up. He used to go after bad actors and defend people. Oh, okay, there you go. Oh, he did. Oh, yeah. You're just the bigger man. Well, I tried to be. Well, I'm working on it. I'm certainly eating like it. It's terrifying knowing these are the types of psychopaths our leaders are pouring out into society. Well, here's the funny thing. Humanity has been around for a very long time. And if bad behaviors and evil behaviors were 100% contagious, which means if you had a bad experience or something horrific happened to you, you learned it, you saw it, and you repeated it, in 4 or 5 generations, all the worst things about humanity would be the norms. But they're not. And the fact that they're not is what's behind Nosfero. The fact that they're not is what's behind Springball. I believe that good is apparently some inalienable thing. It can be almost destroyed, but never completely destroyed. And what's interesting to me about that, and the thing I think about a lot, is I tell people, if I were to say to you or the average person, this is where my positivity comes from, funny enough. If I were to say to you or the average person, hey, you know what? We can fight and we can fight and we can do everything we can to decimate it. Evil will never be destroyed. Almost everybody I know would kind of go, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's always going to be there. How can you have that romantic of a view of evil and not have a similar one for good? That's what my work is in answer to. That's what my work is always addressing. No matter how hard people try, good, they've been trying to kill good forever. Why does it exist? I have an easier time understanding why people give up, people are weak, people are quit trying to do the right thing and say, you know what, bad things happen to me, so I'm going to do bad things to other people. You see it all the time. What amazes me is the people that I've met who are never my worst students. They're always my hardest workers, and I only find out after the fact, man. Like that band, Sean. Thank you, Wishmaster. It happens. Because evil is taking over everything we see. Good is disappearing. It's not gone. and it will rise again. It always does, and it's like, yeah, when you look at history and you see the kinds of things that happen in history, it gives you context for things. It gives you context, and you should always remember that, guys. You should remember it's weird, it's I hate using that word because I'm trying to get that word out of my vocabulary because it's used by, as you know, people to describe something, and I want to find actual good words for it. It's interesting to research, yes, but listen, Flutterbat, don't be afraid to look into the darkness too. Don't be afraid, like in the sense of the full color spectrum of the darkness. We were talking weird. You're absolutely right, awesome one. You were talking to me before about Hitler, the rise of Hitler and the darkness and all of that kind of stuff, right? There's stuff about that a lot of people don't do research into that reveals the frailty of human beings and how things like that come to power, and it's usually presenting people with ideas and ideas of, of the things we see, equity and everything else. And then it slowly kind of pivots, and there's tinges of it. There's tinges of it everywhere. And one of the things that surprised me when I was doing research, and this is something that you can look up, and my buddy, how do I put this? My buddy's wife's parents are Holocaust survivors. Okay, or they've passed away in the last 10 years or so, right? And I was looking up what was going on in Germany and during that time period, and I came up with a hypothesis. I said, it seems to me, based on the relevant data that I have, that a particular group advertised themselves about being pro a particular thing before they switched up their game and leaned into another thing. And I was surprised to learn, and this is just a matter of fact, and it's online and you can find it, that there were members of a group that they sought to completely exterminate and wipe off the face of the planet, who had organized into a group before that plan was unraveled, of our group for the National Socialist Workers' Party of Germany. And when I found that out and I looked at that, it hit me like a ton of bricks, because I thought, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's a very human thing to do, and I wouldn't have looked for it if I didn't suspect it was something that all humanity was capable of. So when people say to me, are you positive? What's behind my positive? Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, can't go to those. I was watching Schindler's List the other day because Spielberg is a hero of mine, and I'm still amazed at how incredible that movie is, and Itzhak Perlman's violin. I've actually tried to learn that song. It's very difficult. But the thing that got me about it was, with all of this stuff, I can't go to those museums because I've seen photos of that kind of thing, but I just can't. It's too much. It's too much for me. I'm there. I get it 100%. And so the thing I've been really thinking about when I'm looking at Nosfero and I'm looking at SPRINGBALL and I'm looking at all of that stuff is, I go, what is the nature of evil and how do people get sucked into it? So I'll try to speak as generally as I can. But imagine this. I've had friends who work in academic institutions who had believed for X amount of years that a particular president was like a particular leader in Germany. And it was quite the shock for them when they found their particular group under threat by the political party they were allied with in the environment that talks about equity and social justice. I'll leave it there. And I said, that's because that's how it always starts. Blaming a group of a particular race for historical injustice and laying it at their feet. And that's what I noticed when I was watching the same thing happen with white people, and I called it out for what it was, And that's one of the things that I was getting constantly having to defend myself against students as a result. And it's the thing that you got it. Whenever I see the People's, whether it's the People's Temple, the People's Church, or anything else, that's the stuff that I notice. That's the stuff that stops me cold. And I go, uh-oh, this is going to be a problem. Because that's usually them naming their target, which is the people. And I think that the horror of that sort of stuff is rough. It's really, really rough. And people don't pay enough attention to... Everybody likes the idea, right, of somebody going after a group that's not them. And I mean going after. Let's call it what it is. I'm not talking about people on equal footing. I'm talking about people where they can destroy your livelihood and your life. You know, one group has the power to do that to another group, and everybody gets on board. That's a whole different kettle of fish. I have a friend, my wife's best friend is married to a guy who grew up in Chattanooga, and his mom walked out pregnant with him. His father was killed by the Khmer Rouge and those the killing fields. And we took a lot, in Chattanooga, there were a lot of refugees who came there. Yep. The People's Party, the Workers' Party. Yep. When you see those, run for your life. You're absolutely right, Wooly Shambler 29, 100%. So when you guys see the two books I'm most excited about that I'm doing right now, obviously, because I can't wait to ship Nosfero's Second Chance campaign, and this, I think this is going to be the cover. I didn't mention that before. I wasn't thinking about doing a new cover. This was just going to be just the book plate. But I'm thinking this is going to turn into the cover of the Nosfero Oxidized Edition. I'm going to be announcing that soon. I might even announce it tomorrow. Because the cover, it's just too beautiful of an image. And it deserves that cover. It deserves a new cover, which was not in the plan. I was just going to use the same cover with a different colored type on it for the Oxidized Edition. But when I was working on the villain, the evil villain, and what's going to happen in Nosfero, Death Will Die, it's going to be a broadside to those particular ideologies, and it's really going to explain what they're about, and a hypothesis that I've had for a while. That's why you have this dragon on Dracula's chest, or my version of Dracula, which is the Marquis de Dracula. It's my nod to postmodernism. Sean's going to cuck Ethan's launch. Nice guy. No, wait, he's not launching right now. No, I'm not. not doing anything. I have that advertised, by God. I have that in the chat. Guys, if you have not signed up for Ethan's latest book, which I'm actually really excited about, the story. That's what I'm really curious to read. I think I was, and by the way, Eric, thank you for being a channel member. Thank you for all the memberships and all the super chats and all the awesome things you do on this channel, brother. It is all appreciated. All appreciated. I was just talking about it with my wife the other day. But this is the thing, right? Is that, when you look at this stuff and you look at what's happening, with these things, I wanted to deal with the idea of what it is like to hate humanity and to think, you know what would really fix humanity if we got rid of humanity? That's really the ultimate of, wish of the death cult, man. This has been a nice 30 minutes listening, so thank you. Thank you, Eric. I really do appreciate it, Eric Winberg. Really do. And the thing about it is that I want to explain to people that what the evil of Lovecraft was about, and what Death Will Die is about, is the idea that these people, they don't really have a goal. They have a method, but they don't have a goal. They hate humanity because they hate humanity in themselves. And yes, the people who think humanity is a disease, absolutely sickening. And that is the common idea that's being floated. That's the common idea. My kids came home from school from studying about the environment, and they got a lesson that I bet you there's a lot of young people who could tell you word for word they felt this way. When you're done taking those classes and learning from people about the environment, my kid came home, and this is actually said to me by my son. He goes, you know what I learned when we were studying about the environment today? You know what I thought? He was young. He was in like the 3rd grade. He goes, the world would be better if human beings just all died. And I thought, yeah, that's the goal of this stuff. How sick is that? Like, we're not a part of the earth. Like, I have news for you. This computer, all these materials we're communicating with, This is all natural. It is. It's from the Earth. And the planet's going to go on fine. The question is if we're going to choose oblivion. And that's what Lovecraft was about. These things that are trying to get in are these ideas of self-destruction. They're entropy. They're all of these different things. So Springball is a kinetic force. Springball has energy inside of him, and it's the vibration of the atoms and how he was made that keep him going. He is essentially an inexhaustible resource. And yeah, they're thinning the herd. The left really are that deranged. Yes, they are. Yeah, it's all anti-human mechanoid. You're absolutely right. This is what Springball is about. This is what Nosfero is about. This is what SHANTH ENJETI art's about. You're going to see me going over this stuff again and again. Sleepy Hollow, like everything I do is very, very I'm all in on humanity, and I've seen some horrifying shit in my life from humanity, but I always go back to this, and I want to make sure I point this out, man. If you've ever been in an emergency room, and most of us have been, right? You've seen a nurse in an emergency room who comes by, who asks you if they can adjust your pillow, who has a sunny disposition, and is at the end of her shift. If you've never seen that before, I'm sorry, but I have seen it. I've seen it more than once, okay? Think about it. If you're a nurse in an emergency room, you've seen every horrific thing that can happen to or be done to another human being inside of 4 or 5 years. You've been the final stop where the buck stops, trying to help and save people, sometimes against themselves. Think about that for a minute. And you can still have a sunny disposition and arrange pillows. You can still go home sometimes and have energy for a school project. You know what I mean? Or to help a neighbor. That's the bar. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Been with mom several times in the ER. It's frustrating. It takes hours. I know it does. But it's you just think about those types of people. You see it sometimes from folks in law enforcement. You see it sometimes from folks in the military. You see it sometimes from folks in rescue. You see it all the time. And it's not 100%. But what about that percent? I don't care how small it is. It's incredible. Shanth, are you familiar with the band Dead Can Dance? I feel like I know this band, and I can't say why I know this band, but interesting. Yes. Particular song, the song of the Dispossessed. Figured you'd enjoy it. Well, I'll check it out. True evil wants us gone. Humans. Yes. That's it. Anti-human. That's all it is. Humans are from the earth, 100% Bruce Campbell's chin. And this is the crazy thing. This is the thing that overlies Evil Dead and H.P. Lovecraft's story. This is the things that Dr. Armitage is battling out when he's battling the Dunwich Horror. And he says, but I love the line when he realizes the plot. I had this thought when I was a kid, though less articulately than H.P. Lovecraft could write, man. He said, he kept repeating one phrase after he figures out what's going on. He says, but what on earth can be done about it? Like, what can we as people be done about it? And he's a wreck. But then he gets his together. He gathers up his friends and he goes, this is going to be some terrible business. But we got to hunt this thing down because we're trying to save humanity. If it opens up a door, it's going to destroy the planet. It's already destroyed Dunwich. It's already taking Dunwich down. Your neighbors, your friends. But there's some evil stuff that's been unlocked here. Some evil, dark stuff. And we have got to shut the door because this thing is opening the door and it wants to open the door permanently. There's Nosfero the Crypt Walker. That's what Nosfero is fighting. He's fighting vampires, but vampires are just earthly pawns trying to open the door to cosmic horror. Springball has been fighting all of the dark, disgusting human beings who prey on the citizenry, just like the mugger, the thug, the child abuser, all of those kinds of folks. But what he realizes, starting with Springball Terminal Monstrosity, he's going to realize it in issue 2, but we're going to realize it before he does. What he's going to come face to face is that cosmic awful evil and the ripples it creates from the few areas it gets into his world, right? That's the stuff that he's really fighting. That he still has to kick the ass of all these street-level criminals. He's still got to bring people to justice, him and law enforcement and the folks that he works with. But it's bigger than that. Because there are limits they can't go to. There are groups that are working with these evil folks who keep secrets. You guys probably have seen a lot of that in the news lately. There's protected people, and those protected people are working against humanity, and they have a despicable view of humanity. And that's what Springball is going to get himself baptized into, for lack of a better way of putting it, by the end of Springball Terminal Monstrosity #1. That's where the series is going. And Nosfero, in many ways, was baptized in it. You already saw it. Nosfero #1, you saw that happen. Nosfero, you watched that this was a pure kid, a pure spirit. He was, him and his village were attacked by vampire. They destroyed everything, and because of his special abilities, he was forced to survive and suffer, and his spirit endured. And he found friendship, he found fellowship, and he found a cause. And maybe that cause was always in him, but he found the strength. He was given the strength through his trials. That's so important. So important to remember. Let me go back to what JD says here, and let me also go back here. Dead Can Dance was an Aussie late 80s band. You would know their big hit or two. Oh, okay, I will. I'll have to look it up. Evil hates us, not because of our flesh and blood. No, it's what's inside us that they truly hate. Because of its connection with a being they absolutely hate. You're absolutely right there. Eric Winberg, yeah, but they were interesting because of their subject matter and just really beautiful music and art concepts. Yeah, absolutely, Andy Montemayor. Precisely, JD. Yep, absolutely. I'm imagining the 80s Spider-Man song as Springball fights injustice. You know what, man? I'm totally down for that. So absolutely down for that. And Andy Montemayor, just anchoring the reference for Shanth, they were fine as I remember. Yeah, there you go, Eric. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. And Flutterbat, I'll tell you something that I came to recently that I said that stopped a friend of mine cold. I said there's a group of people that I hear a lot of people are against. Or not a lot of people, that some people are against. And it becomes very fashionable from time to time to attack these folks. And I wonder how long it's going to take people to realize that it's just a stepping stone on their way to who they see as their king. That's who they want to take out. And that's what Nosfero deals with and it's about. And it's not about proselytizing. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about the idea that we have to recognize evil when we see it. And we can't try to guess what evil is based on what uniform it's wearing. Because evil is formless. It's malleable. It's unscrupulous. And it tries to take on any form that it possibly can. You know what I mean? That's what its determination is. And, you know, the people that I'm around, it's sort of funny, man, but it's like the people that I'm around now and the people that I hang out with have a lot of different opinions, I'm sure, on things. I don't spend really that much time because it's usually about laughing, working hard, and just trying to survive the insanity of the comic book making life. You're damn right. Absolutely awesome one. The whole world will rise up against them and God will defend them 100%, man. Yeah, it's a wild thing because I want to create characters in Nosfero, but more importantly in Bromstone, who I was just talking about the other day, who is my Nosfero world specific, just like the Marquis de Dracula is my Nosfero's world's Dracula. But Bromstone is Nosfero's world, the Golem, in terms of the lore. And Golem marches with a shield that's very like the Ark of the Covenant. And the Golem has in him the sacred texts are put into his body. And I love that aspect of him. I love it. That he's almost like, you know, an ark that fights, a walking ark. But he is described in the book, in terms of my writing, is that Bromstone was made, not begotten. And it's just, to me, I like that fascinating aspect of him, that, you know, the much like the Golem, but the rabbi who created him is a little bit of a nod to comic history and a little bit of a nod. We'll see how far I go in the story, but it's going to be a little bit of a nod to Jor-El and a little bit of a nod to Jor-El, Kal-El, and that kind of thing. Because you know what? Those stories are ours. They're a part of our pop culture. And the stories that they're built off of are our collective stories. So I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, Maranatha. Yeah, you guys are going to love this stuff. And everything happening is coinciding with a biblical prophecy perfectly. It's truly scary. Well, sure. But this is the thing about it. It's my buddy was who's never read the Bible, interestingly enough, and I told him there's a couple of things you have to read because everyone has an opinion on them who hasn't read them. I said, you have to read these things. You have to read Atlas Shrugged, because everybody bitches about it, nobody's read it. You have to read the Constitution of the United States, because everybody bitches about it, but nobody reads it. And you have to read the Bible, because everybody bitches about it, and nobody reads it. And he's just been texting me as he's read it like, I didn't know this was in there. He's like, this is insane. This book is so different than I thought it was. And I was like, yeah, what did you think, man? I was like, it's a collection of books. So he's not out of the Old Testament yet, but he's been really amazed by the stuff he's been reading, just in terms of how many times people seem to make the exact same mistake, get harshly disciplined by God, and they keep making the same mistake. That's there for a reason. That's there for a reason. It's so that you can figure that stuff out and realize this, and realize that the fallibility of human beings, but also you're not supposed to learn a contempt for human beings. I'm more of a Fountainhead reader. Let me tell you something, Moromi, my brother. All right, Moromi, we're going to talk, my brother. First of all, The Fountainhead may very well be a superior book. Okay? You heard it here first. However, as I said to Bosch, he laughed because he thought I was kidding at first. God bless him. He thought I was kidding. I did not plan on showing this because it's personal. Are you ready? Moromi, give me a 1 in the chat if you're ready. Just let me know if you're ready, Moromi. That's where we are, okay? I've had people bring up William Blake to me before, by the way. Dun, 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 says Awesome One. Are you ready, Moromi? She I'm not going to show it. If Moromi doesn't hit a 1 in the chat, I ain't showing it, man. Because it's just one of those things. But anyway, it perfectly explains why Atlas Shrugged is my book. Flutterbats cracking up. Careful what you ask for. Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get. You may not get it, man. Moromi may be just like hanging off. All right, Moromi's here with a 1. She got me a Father's Day card. And it was the first, I saw this Father's Day card. I got emotional, Moromi. I'm not an emotional guy. But I saw this card, and it just hit me at the most deep emotional place in the world. And I said, this woman knows me. This is the perfect Father's Day card. Okay? I can't believe I'm showing this. You guys asked for it, so here you go. This is the Father's Day card. I'm about to open it. Are you ready? Brace yourself. I may have the tism. It's a problem. So anyway, Atlas Shrugged is the one about trains. It's so bad, man. It's so bad. You don't understand. I make the joke. I'm like, I have a 4-disc set called HD Trains. And it's just trains. It's just 4 Blu-rays of trains in different weather in Colorado. And whenever I'm stressed out, I put it on. It's bad, man. It's bad. You don't understand. It is a neat card, but there's bigger issues at play here, man. Holy God, man. Holy God. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. Oh, it's killing me. Oh, I'm going to laugh and start coughing, man. It's bad. Yep, happy birthday. That's right. Yeah, Shane would freak out. Yes, he would, man. It is an awesome card. It is an awesome card, man. It's, but you know, Moromi, I'm a special man. We'll just leave it at that and all that entails, man. But she's an amazing woman, man. She's been so supportive of me in Comicsgate, and you guys know when she's around, she always says, hi, Comicsgate, and she said that from the beginning, man. it's like she's like, when it comes to Nosfero, when it comes to Springball, the best thing I can do for her, and the best thing I can do, is to make the best books I can and encourage all of you guys, like, to get the word out, tell people to back this book, if you haven't already. These books, Springball and Nosfero, the links are in the description. You know, I need all the support that I can get, and I need to make sure I'm always working harder to do that. And at the same time, even though it might not, as one of my favorite movies of all time, it might not amount to a hill of beans, I want to make sure I say this, because I know it's not like I have some... All right, take care, Admiral. Get some sleep, man. Have a great night. Yeah, Cam, Shane is the freak out. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is a brilliant card, Brent. I agree with you 100%. Yes, indeed. And happy birthday. This is an awesome one. But guys, if you haven't signed up for it yet, Ethan's got a campaign that's launching this Friday. And the campaign is one I'm really interested about in terms of the story, largely because obviously my kids are young adults now. They're out in the world. But it's dealing with a story that, for whatever reason, is documenting a really awful adolescent sort of relationship between two girls who are friends. And one of them, of course, grows up to be a supervillain. But I think everybody who's has a daughter or has a wife who tells stories about those kinds of things knows someone who's had a really tough story with that. Hopefully doesn't know too many people who were the person inflicting that kind of thing. But you hear it with sisters, you hear it with... I hear it all the time. And it's a very interesting thing to be existing. And thank you for the link for backing this for Admiral. I do appreciate that. And yes, good night. People are saying, yep, my brain is shutting down. Yeah, well, all you got to do is just not go to sleep. It's everything. Read it and saw the movie. Part 2 was first film. Teller was the first film Teller spoke in a movie. Wow, that's great. He even broke the fourth wall. Wow, holy cow, man. Yeah, I actually have the audiobook of Fountainhead, and I love it because when the main character comes into the office of the gentleman he wants to learn from, and the guy's like, "Get out of here! You don't want this. You say this, blah 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 blah." And he's like, "No, I just want to learn from you. Because you're a genius." It's the same thing that was done to me, and I experienced when I went to go to Gaijin Studios and talk to Brian Stelfreeze. He was just ripping me to shreds, saying, "You don't have it. All right, well then come back tomorrow." And it was that for an entire summer, and then it was that for years, and then that's how the relationship forms. And he's probably the most important mentor I've ever had as an artist in my life. And reading that in Fountainhead shows people what it's supposed to be like. When you're young and you're a professional, you don't know shit, and people are supposed to bust your balls. You're supposed to show you can take it. And you will earn respect and much more than just the money if you show people you can handle that. You're gonna do much more than just... People are standing on a whale fishing for minnows. To quote Joseph Campbell, quoting an old Polynesian saying. But we are standing on a whale fishing for minnows, and people need to wake up to that and stop, missing the point of this whole thing. And I think it's incredibly important. It's incredibly important. Cam, when CYBERFROG began, I was tentative about it. The more it progressed, the more impressed I am by it and engaged. Yes, what's funny is I never read CYBERFROG when I was younger. I backed the book at the start because I liked the artwork, and I liked Ethan as a fellow Star Wars fan. I hated what was happening to him. And here's the theory I have, or not the theory, here's my feeling about it, is that when he did the first CYBERFROG, one of the things that didn't appeal to me is it was a young man writing a story, and the artwork was cool, but, he draws way better than that now. But there was something about his time at DC Comics that just that where he was in this kind of what's it called, crucible, not like the movie Crucible, where his skills were pushed, his creativity and his inventiveness. He was able to really run with it and play with it, and he became a different artist. And when he returned to CYBERFROG, the scope, the stakes, everything became so much more sophisticated, and it's the work of a man and not a young man. And I think that's the thing that is why I've gotten into CYBERFROG now, is because it's a story told by a man that is more mature and understands the storytelling and understands what he wants to do with it. And the scope is something that could only come from that many years of experience. So I think I'm so glad to hear that, Cam. Absolutely. I'm checking out. I'm about to wrap up the stream as well. I'm checking out. I'll talk later, Shanth. Absolutely, JD Kirby. Take care. I know I'm breaking you guys down. It's late, said Moromi. Absolutely. It's early. It's 5:18 in the morning, you know. Good night, JD. Later, JD. Apex Comics hanging out. Probably just woke up. Hail, Shanth Enjeti, Jeremy Burtz, Moromi, JD Kirby, and Flutterbat. It's great to see you, Apex Comics. How are you doing? And now, you know, as a mod, you've got to drop the link to Fembot in the chat, Apex Comics, or I'm not going to let you get out of here without dropping the link to Fembat. Make it happen. JD Kirby, High T Badass, received a gift membership. Eric Winberg gifted a membership, and JD Kirby, High T Badass, received the membership. How is that? How is that for a beautiful, beautiful moment on this stream? That made the stream. That absolutely made the stream, Eric Winberg. That was a beautiful moment. And here you go, my friend.
Charge! Charge!
That's got to be one of the coolest things that's happened on a stream, man. That was awesome. And what's up, David D? Great to see you staying strong. 2 a.m. here. Hand big waving says Wishmaster. JD Kirby received a gift. High T Badass received a gift membership by Eric Winberg. That's awesome. And Eric, thank you so much, man. You are amazing, and that was amazing to behold. Apex Comics dropping the link to Fembat Volume 1 on Fund My Comics, the campaign for Fund My Comics. Fembat Volume 1. Check it out. Love Fund My Comics. They do great stuff. I am so grateful for their support. I'm a graveyard shift worker. Thanks for doing early morning streams. My pleasure, Cam. I'm all too happy to do it. And thank you for the work that you do, by the way, working graveyard shift. Simply Green, random. Absolutely. Well, what isn't random about me and these streams? There's a lot of randomness in it, as you guys well know, and it is terrific to see you guys here, man. Yeah, so I'm going to be working on even more. If you haven't watched my short yet, feel free to go and watch it on here. It really would help because I want to get the word out. I'm trying to do short videos that give people a little bit of, that hopefully spark people's curiosity, and they're all kind of themed around, you know, Halloween and spooky sort of stuff. But I want to also give people a sense of things. And one of the fun things, what is up, Amoral Fat 40 ounce? How are you doing, my friend? I see a bed right there. It's good to see you, brother. How are you doing, man? I love the Cobra, man. I love that, man. It's beautiful. So this is the thing, right? What I started to realize is I did research because I'm fascinated by the legend of Sleepy Hollow. Yep, haven't gone to bed yet. Good DoorDash night. Oh, man, I've DoorDashed myself some... what did I DoorDash the other night? Oh, Five Guys. I DoorDashed myself some Five Guys, and that burger was so huge. I think I ate it over 2 days, man. It was crazy. But what do you call it? But yeah, man, I'm taking a look at things, and I researched the legend of Sleepy Hollow, and I started realizing that there are no real images of what the bridge looked like, the actual bridge for Sleepy Hollow looked like. And I finally found a painting that seems to me, even though it was not done during that time, it seems to be informed by things that someone who heavily researched it would have known in the early 1900s, and it's crazy. Oh, man, those Five Guys fries, when they come in that cup, it is good stuff. I love me some Five Guys. Maybe I should take Mrs. Enjeti out for some Five Guys tomorrow. My daughter loves Five Guys, man. That stuff is awesome. But yeah, I love burgers. My DoorDash subscription ends next month. Too convenient. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It's rough, man. Yeah, it is convenient, and it can get to be a problem. I'm pretty much, I mean, right now I haven't been doing so, like, I haven't been eating very much. I've just been kind of eating like one meal a day and just sort of just working. It's not great, but it's, you know, I sometimes I just get into a work mode. I want to see if I can do this. I don't know if this is going to work, but let me see if I can try this. I don't know if I'll be able to do it at the exact same time, but let me just see here. Choose file. Let's see if this works. Don't know if it's going to work, but we'll give it a shot. And let me do open.
This is Shanth Enjeti Art, and you're watching
Gotta
that the
pause it.
farm
Hang on a
was
second.
still active, and perhaps...
There we go. All right, let me remove some stuff here and see what I can do. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove... I don't know if I'm going to have to scale this differently. This might not even work, come to think of it. Just had that realization. Oh, no, it did work. Look at that. So, guys, if you're curious what I've been working on, this is... And it's the first one, so bear with me. It's not going to be great. But this is what I was working on this week. So here you go. See if I can make this happen without it being too horribly loud. Here you go, man.
This is SHANTH ENJETI Art, and you're watching Forget What You've Been Taught About, Sleepy Hollow's Headless Horseman Bridge. Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is one of the most iconic stories in American literature. The Headless Horseman Bridge is one of the most significant locales in American folklore. But what did it really look like? From the fictional covered bridge dreamt up by Maestro Walt Elias Disney and homaged in Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, to the 1905 photograph of the bridge as it stood at the dawn of the 20th century, the true bridge and surrounding landscape has been buried by time and artistic license.
This is my new YouTube
But what
short
did the
there,
real
Clipper.
bridge look like?
Craziness.
This 1902 painting by Jenny Augusta Brownscombe may hold the answers.
What a painting, too.
In doing my research on the Sleepy Hollow Headless Horseman Bridge, I stumbled upon this illustration in Gleason's Pictorial, 1853. In it, there was a clue that seemed to give credence to the painting. In this view, we look downhill from the old Dutch church immortalized in Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. On the right side of the frame, across the street from the old Dutch church, we see a split rail fence seen referenced several times in different illustrations. What makes the painting unique that explains why that split rail fence was there, grazing cattle showing that the farm was still active, and perhaps it is this painting that gives us a better understanding of what it was really like when Ichabod Crane...
I'm going to pause this for a second. You see that little smaller dirt path next to the road that goes uphill to the church? That path with gravel, and they occasionally try to put like a little bit of tar and stuff down, is still there. So I know the artist who painted this was using reference and using information of the actual building. You can't paint certain things. If you paint realistically, you got to do a trip down there. So it seems to me like they did some research. There's things in here that you would only know if you had done research. Now remember, the book came out in the 1850s, so 50 years earlier. The artist was born at that time, but they wouldn't have been illustrating at that time. So that's an interesting aspect of this. But also they said that the way that the river was, it would wash out the bridge frequently because of the floods of the river. So they didn't really have anything that was that stable. So even that bridge that everyone sees on the old postcards, right, from the early 1900s, that photograph is not considered to be the actual, bridge. So what did the bridge look like? And by the way, what did the land look like? There was I grew up across from split rail fences where I lived, and there were still cattle grazing there. If there's split rail fences, that means there was somewhat recently, they're hard to maintain, like they just fall apart, that there was a big farmland there. So even more importantly, it just shows you how rural it was. You were walking to the church, and so here you go, here's more.
Was chased out of town. The historical bridge was one that was frequently replaced due to the flooding of the Pocantico River, far more utilitarian than the covered bridge many envision. But does an uncovered bridge leading to a road with an open field on one side and an isolated church on the other make this story less or more scary?
This was fun to do.
My name is SHANTH ENJETI, and you've been watching SHANTH ENJETI Art. I'm the artist and
There you go, guys. There you go. And so that's the stuff that I've been working on, and it has been. I said to myself, that's what I need to do with this work. I want to try to make short videos that are kind of fun and educational. Oh, thank you, Cam. I appreciate that. Thank you, Flutterbat. Yeah, guys, go give that short a view on this channel. It's on this channel, and share it out everywhere, man. It's like how people confuse London Bridge with Tower Bridge. You're absolutely right, man. And it was interesting to me because I love the fact that when people were trying to make it more artistic or whatever, they thought of a covered bridge and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I love the Sleepy Hollow. I wouldn't even know it if it wasn't for the Disney cartoon. And I love Tim Burton's movie, even though it bears no resemblance to The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which I own over here in a leather-bound edition with Arthur Rackham's original illustrations. Love The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It's a funny story. It's a story about a guy who comes into town and tries to woo a wealthy girl just for her inheritance. or sorry, the daughter of a wealthy man just for her inheritance, and gets run out of town by the guy, the tough guy who owns the town, and he scares him out of town. But not before she rejects him and everything like that. It's a really funny story, and it really the way they describe her, and it's just wonderful, man. I love it all. Thank you, Franklio0. I appreciate it, my friend. I appreciate it. Yeah, storytelling paintings are great. I love those kinds of paintings. Aren't they great? And so I adore both Disney and Burton's versions, artistic license and all. Absolutely, that's exactly right. My favorite Halloween movie. It's not Halloween until I watched Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. And when I was a kid, I would come home to try to catch Disney's Halloween Treat, which was played on ABC, and it showed a collection of things, and it ended with The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So, thank you very much, man. Well, I put all that knowledge to the best use I can for Comicsgate, for trailers, for all that kind of stuff, for intros on this show, and for trailers I do for my friends and folks who I work with. So it's a fun thing to do, and I love it. And I did the same thing. And I guess this is a good way to close the day starts. 4 years ago today, in, about 7 or 8 more hours, I handed in my letter of resignation to my job as a full-time associate professor, and left that job on principle, and the way things were happening in academia. And I said to myself, I don't even know where I'm going to go with this. I've crowdfunded some art books, but I don't know anybody in Comicsgate, and I do think I'm ready to do comics. And I want to return to this, but this could be the craziest, most ridiculous thing I ever do. And I am so grateful that 4 years later I'm here. I've met all of you guys. I mean, things like having a monetized YouTube channel, all of that stuff would have been, I think it's best to say with Frankly00 here, would have been inconceivable. And I thank you guys so much for backing Nosfero, so much for backing Springball. I hope you're like me and looking forward to backing, Ethan's latest book here, and the Heather Swain's childhood story, and the things that she goes through, from, losing her dad and, having this horrible best friend and all of that kind of stuff. Frankly0 knows, man. Frankly0 knows. And I'm looking forward to backing it myself. Hope you're feeling at home and contented. I absolutely am, Eric, and thank you so much for being here. You know what I mean, man. You know what I mean. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you guys. Oh, thank you. God, jeez. I'll always support your work. Thank you for being a beacon of sanity amidst all the crazy CG drama of late. Yeah, it's going to happen, but it's, what? The crazy vortex of all of that stuff brought me here, in the sense of, it's the whole world, the whole experience and education. I look back at things like that, and I'm so grateful for my years teaching, because I don't think I could have done this, because I'm such an introvert. Getting in front of people was always so stressful. So even the worst, most horrific things I've experienced and I've gone through, I always say they lead me somewhere. And while it was tough to lose certain things, I landed on my feet. And sometimes, what is that quote? Now you're going to make me have to quote this, Cam, because I got to find it. It's a quote from The Count of Monte Cristo, and you probably know it. I can't believe it's. Yes. Here it is. Here's the Count of Monte Cristo quote I love. What would you not have accomplished if you had been free? Possibly nothing at all. The overflow of my brain would probably, in a state of freedom, have evaporated in 1,000 follies. Misfortune is needed to bring to light the treasures of the human intellect. I hate when a pop-up window happens. Compression is needed to explode gunpowder. Captivity has brought my mental faculties to a focus, and you are well aware that from the collision of clouds, electricity is produced. From electricity, lightning. From lightning, illumination. That's how I see it, guys. I appreciate all of you guys for being here, and being a part of the illumination and the electricity. That's what keeps it going. That's what makes me able to get up every day and paint for hours and hours and hours, and show up in this chair just as excited to be here, and feeling good at the end of the evening after a long day's work. you guys and all your support. I appreciate it tremendously, man. Thank you guys so much, and you know how it goes. I appreciate all of you guys. So take care. I'm going to go ahead and play the channel member credits. I'm going to have to update it now thanks to all of you fine folks donating memberships. Eric Winberg, I do appreciate it, man. And Jeremy Burtz, you guys are awesome. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your fellowship. Thank you for backing Springball. Thank you for backing Nosfero. Thank you for backing Comicsgate. And I appreciate all of you guys. Later, Moromi. Take care, my friend. And well said, Eric Winberg. Yes, indeed. Comicsgate, Illumination. You know it's true, Apex Comics. All right, guys. Good night, CG, says Eric Winberg. I can't say it any better than that. Thank you guys for being here. So from the heart of Lovecraft country and the birthplace of American religious liberty, my name is Shanth Enjeti. You've been watching Shanth Enjeti Art. Speak easy, stay gold, and peace be with you guys. Give nihilism no quarter, nor accept any. I will see you guys very, very soon. Later, Jeremy Burtz, thank you for being here. Thank you, David D. I appreciate you. Moromi, thank you so much. Time for a Count of Monte Cristo, absolutely. Thank you so much, Flutterbat. I do appreciate it. And thank you for the kind words back at you, Sean. Thank you so much. The Woolly Shambler 29, I appreciate you. Thank you, Brent. Everybody have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, wherever you are in this world. Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Apex Comics. Yes, indeed. Yeah, Monte Cristo with onion rings. Amen, brother. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. I couldn't agree more. I'll see you guys soon. Take care and stay gold. Bye.
Charge! Charge!
This is Shanth Enjeti Art, and
Look
you're
at this.
watching
I didn't mean to
Forget
start
What You've
this video up again, but let me just say this. Congratulations, Cam, on becoming a member. I just saw this as we were about to wrap up. I appreciate you. Thank you, Frankly O0 for the cheers. And Shaq, sorry you're just missing us, but take care, brother. I will see you guys soon. Take care, guys. Bye.